Marcie from Behavior and Beyond, bringing you realistic ideas for the real life behavior that you face. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Dr. Marcie Ask Me Anything. It's a time for you to get your questions answered. I know that behavior can feel really tricky and hard to understand, so I have created a time for you to send in your questions and get specific, concrete, valuable guidance about how maybe to address some of these behaviors and an understanding that you didn't have before. So let's dive in. Here's a question that a parent sent me. Now, I always answer them anonymously, so there's no identifying information, but here's the question we have today. My 5-year-old daughter is hitting her friends in kindergarten. She will even hit her teachers. She has sensory processing disorder and seems to react physically when she is feeling overstimulated or overwhelmed. She knows that it is wrong and is immediately resourceful, but does not seem able to control herself. What is the appropriate response or consequence to help her to stop this behavior? Her teacher is strict and is scolding her and not allowing her to participate in recess, which only seems to make matters worse. I really appreciate your advice. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for sending in this question, and hopefully you can relate. Hitting is a big challenge for a lot of small beings, and what I find is many of these children understand that hitting is wrong. If you ask them outside of a moment where they're hitting, is it okay to hit? They will all say no. They can all give you a list of things that they can do. It's not about a cognitive understanding, it's about a physical understanding. Integrate what we can physically do with what we emotionally can handle with what we intellectually know. Let's face it, we've all been in situations where we've done something that we shouldn't have done and know better. This small being is just having this situation happen more and more frequently. So, truth be told, punishment is not going to help her, because no matter how much she wants to do it better, and from the sounds of it, when she's immediately resourceful, she really wants to do better. She just doesn't know how. So the punishment will only make her feel worse, but it won't actually teach her the skill that you're hoping to teach her. What we need to do is teach her to handle feeling overstimulated or overwhelmed. The real power of the teaching is going to happen in those moments where you recognize she's feeling overstimulated and before she actually hits. So you want to try to catch her in those moments and give her a different way to redirect that energy. So when she's feeling all kerfuffly, she knows how to soothe it. Whether that's taking deep breaths, whether that's big jumping jacks, whether that's, walking away and having some quiet time curled up in a tent. There are a bunch of different techniques, and your small being might need something specific. But whatever it is, we want to give them that tool rather than hitting. Or maybe it's even hitting a wall or hitting a couch, right? But in that moment, how do you move that energy as opposed to hitting another person? Now, the second part of that is once your small being hits, give all of your attention to the other child or other adult that's been hit. We want your small being in that moment to get no attention. Don't talk about it. Don't acknowledge it. Don't respond to it. I know that's a little bit counterintuitive because we all want to engage in that moment, but it's really important that your small being learns, not only is that not what I should be doing, but I'm not going to get attention for it either, because sometimes they're looking for attention when they hit. So you want to make sure they're not getting that. Then across the board, stop talking about hitting. It's a conversation that's not really helpful because your small being already knows that they should have done it. They know that something different needs to happen. And so maybe once a day, give them a reminder of when they're feeling, a little bit overstimulated or a lot's happening, to use their words and ask. But it's going to be much more about us teaching them how to do that in the moment. Once there's been an incident, give all your attention to the other small being, and honestly, don't talk about it with your child. You don't need to go back and revisit it. You don't need to remind them. They already know they did it. If they bring it up and have something to share, be willing to listen. But we want to teach them that you're going to talk to them about the successes. Those moments when you can redirect a hit, have big conversations there. And almost no conversations during incidences of hitting. So it's a combination of teaching them what to do in the moment physically and to stop paying attention to the negative behavior so they're not getting attention for it. Together, those two new sets of skills will hopefully transform this behavior for your small being. I hope you found this helpful and can relate it to your own small being. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me on this Dr. Marcie Ask Me Anything. If you have a question that you want me to answer, send it on over to info@behaviorandbeyond.net. Put in the subject question for Dr. Marcie Ask Me Anything so I make sure that it gets to the right place, and I will be happy to answer your question. If you haven't signed up for my mailing list, come on over to my website, www.behaviorandbeyond.net, and sign up for my mailing list. It's where you'll get to find out about my upcoming events and all of the latest information that I'm putting out there. And if you haven't signed up for my YouTube channel, sign up. I think the link is right below here. Click on it, then you'll always know when new videos are posted. Thank you again for taking the time with me to learn about hitting today. Remember, blue skies are ahead. Let's get there together.